The Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity is in, but as for the disease known as liberalism, well, there is still no cure. The show starts now, but first, a word from our sponsor. Have you seen Chuck Norris lately? Well, he's still kicking butt and staying active well into his 80s. What's even more shocking is he looks more jacked than ever and seems to have more energy than guys half his age. And that's all thanks to Morning Kick, a revolutionary new daily drink from Roundhouse Provisions that combines ultra-potent greens like spirulina and kale with probiotics, prebiotics, collagen, and even ashwagandha. So you just mix the water, stir, and enjoy. And unlike other green drinks out there, this one tastes exactly like strawberry lemonade and has hundreds of 5-star reviews. So go to chuckdefense.com/Tommy for up to 44% off your regular price order. Plus, every purchase is backed by a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you want to experience smoother digestion, a boost of energy, and overall healthier body, then go to chuckdefense.com/Tommy today. So liberals are in a panic because the Supreme Court ruled on presidential immunity, sort of. The ruling really sent this back to the lower courts. But the high court did rule that a president does have immunity for official acts while in office. What qualifies as an official act is still up in the air to be sorted, but this ruling is a small victory for Trump and against the weaponized political machine going after Donald Trump. In a statement to Fox News Digital, former President Trump said, "I have been harassed by the Democrat Party, Joe Biden, Obama, and their thugs, fascists and communists for years, and now the courts have spoken. This is a big win for our Constitution and for democracy. Now I am free to campaign like anyone else. We are leading in every poll by a lot, and we will make America great again." But in other and also good news, it is July 1st, and Pride Month and the filth that comes with it is over, sort of, for the calendar year. Now, except in liberal states, of course, where it's Pride Month all year round. You know, the Rainbow Mafia tells us Pride Month isn't about celebrating sex or sexual deviancy, but why then do most Pride events devolve into this? Naked men, women, theys, bopping around with their bits out in front of kids. It's sick and it's wrong, and the sane wing of the LGBTQ movement is doing itself a disservice associating with anything that looks like that. Joining me now to discuss that and more is Black Guns Matter founder Maj Toure. Maj, it's great to have you on this July 1st. The companies have taken down their Pride logos, so they have solved and cured homophobia. I'm sure you're so happy to hear it.
I'm so glad that the Let's Get Biden to Quit plus Kamala rainbow energy has solved this problem. I'm so happy that they could get it done within 30 days. And it's proven that it's done because none of the companies will highlight it anymore because they're solutionaries. They've solved this.
They've solved homophobia and everything that comes along with it. But, you know, I like your acronym better, Let's Get Joe to Quit. That actually might be closer than ever after last week's debate performance. But I got to tell you, I want to get your take on that debate and some of the things that you posted about it. But to me, the Democrat Party really has no choice at this point. The man is not going to make it in several more months, let alone 4 more years. He might live several more months, but as far as being able to actually speak and stand, I'm not so sure he makes it through this term without being 25th Amendmented.
They 100% knew this. Anybody that was paying attention knew this was a part of the play. We got Michigan voters getting pictures of Michelle Obama in the mail now talking about voting. We see Gavin Newsom with his sinister Joker-esque smile tap dancing and ready at that actual debate. We're seeing Jill Biden post up to be kind of like, hey, whichever way we need to go as the Democrat Party, they're going to try to go, and they're all in on that scheme. And anybody that was paying attention knew it. The reason why they held him in for so long was we want to extract and exhaust so many resources from him, i.e. Ukraine, because he's a puppet, as we can. They got him over that hurdle. He's walking around, you know, looking like a toddler, doing you know what in his pants. Everyone can see it. Anybody with any type of political acumen has known this for some time now. And I want to more specifically talk to the Black community. Do not vote for anyone that they say this is our replacement for Biden. The reality is a lot of states, it's too late for them to take him off the ballot. That's number one. Number two, and I'm speaking more specifically to Black communities because that's where the Democratic stronghold is but more and more people in black and brown and yellow, Spanish, whatever communities are waking up. If y'all see this as the play, you 100% should make sure that that's not the play.
So you posted something about that, and I have it. It was, I believe, a tweet and also an Instagram post. Your message to the hood here, and I read through some of the comments, and it seemed like there were mixed reviews. But your message to the hood was kind of what you just told me: don't vote for Joe, don't vote for the replacement. But also, you said that Gavin Newsom is the real devil, and I know you're coming back. But what is your take on that and the Newsom dude being the real devil? Vote for Trump. Can you elaborate on your post for me?
You know, sometimes people, when you talk about things that impact black communities, they automatically associate, you with being reverse racist or racist. It's just talking about the community where we are, right? I am in the community center that we run, the Solutionary Center. All of the classes for these communities are based on voluntary donation. So when people erroneously associate that with racism on one hand, and then they say, well, you got to build your communities up by the bootstraps. These are Democrats by and large. And so when I say Gavin Newsom is a devil, he is. And now some people are going to take that the racist way. By devil, we mean a person that comes through and does things that is low vibration, destroys, and lies. For 2 decades, Gavin Newsom, from lower level political career to running the show in California, has been talking about he wants to end homelessness. Homelessness has increased. He's got billions of dollars in budgets since then. So that means he checks the box of a liar, and he's made things actually worse. He's a very, very deceptive and manipulative person. I know people don't want to talk about this because we were the granny killers in 2020. In 2020, Gavin Newsom was responsible for closing down all of the businesses in California, the restaurants and wineries, but not his. Gavin Newsom based on his deeds, Gavin Newsom is a horrible person. And that's just the tip of the iceberg as it relates to Democrat policies. So I'm somewhat saying that tongue in cheek, being kind of like, oh, y'all are going to call me racist because y'all going to say, if I say he's a white devil, y'all going to be like, oh, because he focuses on the black community. No. He's a devil based on his actions, words, deeds. Same thing with Kamala. Kamala's the same person that's talking about, oh, people shouldn't go to jail, so forth and so on, right, for certain things. When she was running the show over there in California, she was the same person that said, we don't want to let guys out for nonviolent cannabis possession, never mind that it's lawful in California. We want to not let these people out because we need the free slave labor. I'm a fan of locking up actual criminals that create actual victims in crime. 100%. That's what we teach people to do. However, that's not what these people are doing. They know that they've impacted our communities negatively and tremendously. Now they're going to try to trot out slick talking, slick hair back Gavin the devil. And I'm not mad at being trolled for trolling the trolls. He's a devil. He's a devil. He's a devil.
I don't disagree with you on that, and I happen to think he is going to be the nominee, the candidate. I think him walking around that debate like he has been doing with every event, whether it's a Republican event or a Democrat event for the last year and a half, he's been threading that needle. But I want to know what you think in terms of if he does become the nominee, the candidate, by whatever means necessary, they'll do whatever they have to, and he leapfrogs over Kamala Harris. What will the black community, the Democrat black community, say to that the first black woman is being replaced by a white man?
One, the contradiction is clear. One of the best things, Joe Biden's administration is like Diddy. I say this tongue in cheek. The best thing for hip hop and the worst thing for hip hop at the same time was Diddy, right? It exposed certain truths, and it just took a little while for certain truths to be exposed, but it made people feel good in that moment. Now, in that moment of feel good, you didn't pay attention to that your culture was being eroded. The things that were actually beneficial for your neighborhood was being eroded. So Joe Biden and this administration is exactly the same. We have saw America go from a solid economy to something, and I'm not saying it's only Joe, but we saw the hyper turn up of horrible economy, horrible spending, inflation, hyperinflation, stagflation under this administration. So when we see that, and then we have people such as myself that's not willing to, and everybody knows I'm a libertarian. We're not going to win on a national level. It's just not going to happen. However, me saying, yo, if they run this play the way that we've been telling you guys in the hoods all across America, and when I say hood, I don't just mean black communities. If you don't live in a $10 million home in a gated community, you probably live in a hood. My point is, this is just the icing on the cake. When they do with what all of us predicted that they were going to do, even if it is Michelle, even if it is Jill, even if it is Gavin, we've been saying this for some time, and the black community is going, nah, I'm not rocking with it. The evidence of it is in these massive meetups that Trump is doing. I'm going to a bodega in the Bronx. I'm in Philly at Leah Cora Center. The Leah Cora Center, where he was at last week sometime, is right up the street from the Solutionary Center, the building that we have right now. And we're seeing massive turnouts. And these are in primarily black communities. So the hood just got a speed up, adrenaline boost to how much they're seeing that the Democratic Party under the Joe Biden administration has been horrible for the community. And if we continue to say actual conservatives, I'm not talking about tap dances, this con ink pretending, limited government conservatives that happen to be hood adjacent or have the ear of urban America, if we keep saying, yo, if they switch him out, y'all know it's a play, don't vote for him. We as conservative and liberty-minded people have to have an action item list when they do what we know they're going to do. And then the community goes, they told me that they were going to do that. And everybody, if they switch him out, don't vote for Biden, or whoever, vote for Trump. Just vote for Trump. See how loving and non-racist the white liberals are after you do the thing that they tell you, boy, you better do this. See how much they love you after that. And then we're going to get some real freedom around this joint.
So we know that polling shows us that black men are a little bit more conservative this go around, considering voting for Trump. It's not the same as much so for black women. Why do you think that is?
The system, and I know some people hate that word systemic. There was a systemic approach to make sure that black women were engaged more so than black men. We were sent and incarcerated. Biden made sure of it for nonviolent offenses. It's main man's, is his policy. So we just got discarded. And this is what people mean when they say the black community, especially men, relate more to Trump now that he got a charge. Not because we're celebrating catching felony charges. It's because the identifying of a clearly unjust system and an attack on a person is like, why are you doing that to that dude? 37 charges for the same thing. This is civics 101. We already have an impeachment process, guys. Like the fact that we have to get this all the way to SCOTUS to go, hey guys, we're giving you somewhat what we know. We're going to send this back down to the lower court. But if you guys are stupid enough to send this back up to us, we're already telling you what we're going to do. We already have that in position. But when the people see 37 charges for what? Then you see Burisma. Then you see Hunter Biden. Then you see all of these lies over time. Again, Joe Biden was the best thing for this because he hyper-accelerated people's waking up. They tried to run their gambit so fast and so hard that people that was like legit thought they were Democrats because they thought they were saving democracy. They were like, oh, wait. What is going on? I didn't get legalized cannabis on a national level, right? Because I don't smoke, but some people do. It's a nonviolent crime. I'm not into it morally, but I don't think people should be going to prison for 40 years for it, right? So they saw that, and then they go, wait a minute, I'm the person that this system would have been targeting, and I identify with that type of targeting. So the men already knew that because we were targeted. And if anybody wants to say that's not the case, bro, the 70s and 80s, the CIA, the crack drop-offs, that's not like a conspiracy theory. They make movies and hit TV shows off of it now. Everybody knows that's the case, right? But the women were handled differently. The women were given trinkets. Hey, this is for you. We're going to make sure that, you get to college easier. We're going to make sure that we're not incarcerating you at the same levels. And so there was that discrepancy there. But now what black women are starting to see is that same thing. They're going like, wait a minute, what does he mean if I don't vote for him, I ain't black? How is he the determining factor on my melanin content or not? And then because more men are being more vocal from our community and doing the work, huge shouts to King Randall. Huge shouts to all of these folks that are doing the work in the community and saying, listen, we're going to get it done regardless. The Solutionary Center is here. Our women are starting to go, and not just like this racial component of like, oh, it's only the Black women that are recognizing this. If you are not $500,000 a year, if you are at 30, 40, 50, even $100,000 a year, and you're seeing your pocketbook, if you're used to being the head of the household as a woman, and you're seeing your pocketbook get light, and then the dudes around was like, yo, we didn't have this issue in a different economy. Right. It doesn't mean you have to vote Republican. It's just more people are more open to the numbers. The numbers and the paying attention and more vocal people and Trump going, yo, I'm just going to run this thing. I know y'all don't like me. I know I'm not, to a certain extent, a part of this political establishment. And again, I'm very critical on President Trump on certain issues. I think he got to get stronger on that Second Amendment conversation. I'm pretty much a single issue voter in that regard. Right. However, when we see the comparison and when we see people going, nah, and more Black men saying like, nah, I'm going with main men for these reasons. And now we have 4 years of incompetency. We have 4 years of you guys every year shoving LGBTQ down our throat. And I got gay and lesbian friends and bisexual friends. It's like, this is not what we signed up for. Right. This is not, we didn't want people parading in front of children. This is not our thing. And so when you see that culminate and so many people being honest about it, the women are starting to go, nah, these guys were right. We kind of dismissed them maybe 5-10 years ago, but nah, we're seeing that. It's just a slow return, but I'm seeing more of that, that 180 start to happen.
I'm glad that you brought up the numbers, too. And there's something that I believe is faux outrage. But last week during the debate, Donald Trump made a controversial comment about, quote, Black jobs. Now, when I listened to it, Maj, I'm sure you heard the same thing I heard. I didn't hear, well, that's a Black job and that's a white job. What I heard was jobs for Black people in America, the Black unemployment rate, the Black employment rate. But I want to play the clip and I want to get your take because there are some folks on liberal mainstream media that are freaking out over this line. Let's take a listen together.
The fact is that his big kill on the Black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking Black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking Black jobs, and they're taking Hispanic jobs.
So I don't see the controversy, but some folks are really fired up about the Black jobs.
My organization is called Black Guns Matter. Is it safe to say that the NBA has mostly Black African-American players? Is it safe to say that when the left is utilizing it to say, and both sides, hey, we are identifying this has been historically because of systemic issues that have happened in America. Democrats targeted a certain community for a very long time. This impacted employment, housing, all of these different things. Now, all of a sudden, everybody want to get amnesia. Now, oh, it's just he's talking about the such and such. But when we aren't saying, okay, well, what about Black unemployment? We got to counter these goofballs with actual, what about the First Step Act? Huge shouts to Dr. Darrell Scott for running that play, right? When we're talking about these things that they want to be outraged by now, you conveniently were not outraged when your guy, Joe Biden, said, oh, Obama's one of the clean ones. You weren't outraged when literally, I don't want my children being raised in a racial jungle. This is not me making this up. The internet exists, but there is the real pandemic is intellectual inconsistency. The general public will pick a side. When I'm critical of Trump for certain things, I'm critical. I hate, and I'm saying this so everyone understands that I'm very objective. I hate that he say take the guns first, due process later. That came back to bite him because now he's running through people that ran with that and was like, we don't want to give President Trump any due process. We just want to throw charge after charge after charge with absolute morons at the helm of it, right? So I'm critical of Trump, but I'm not going to pretend like there weren't things that were impactful and good for our communities. That's the difference. They are using their media skillfully to try to package any little thing and turn it into something bigger. I watched that after the actual debate, and anyone that was watching that in any way, shape, or form, he trashed Biden. That's it. He trashed him. That's it. I mean, like, come on, bro. Like let's be as humans, as as humans, let's have a human moment. He trashed him. But to pretend right after that, because I usually don't watch the little afterwards, what all of the talking heads, and they really went up there and were like, oh, Trump got away with so many lies because Biden wasn't performing at his best. You will do anything to be intellectually inconsistent and pretend like that's you're saying this, that he was lying when he was not. He wasn't. And I'm going to fact check him. I don't have an allegiance. Trump ain't paid me. Listen, Big Don, if you want me on for the PR tip, then cool. But Trump don't pay me. So I have absolutely no reason to lie about this situation. I have no dog in the fight. But those pundits directly after, to deflect from how horrible Biden performed cognitively, and how it's clear to see that most of the CNN ups were like, we're just going to back him. They weren't trashing him. They immediately went to their talking points. These people are devils. They will lie, they will deceive, and they are the primary reason why we have certain levels. And I'm not talking about because you like Trump, you're racist. I'm talking about certain levels of systemic racism. It is the Democrat Party. I'm not saying that because I hate Democrats. We are all Americans. We're all Americans. But if I don't tell the truth and shame the devil, I'm a part of that team. They are 1,000% lying to just try to get him as close as they can. They done gave away $200 billion in tax dollars to Ukraine in a fight that they cannot win.
Well, I agree with you on that one.
You're mad at the fact that Putin is like Putin could have been destroyed. Come on, Kiev. Come on, bro. Stop it. My point here is they're liars. And if you happen to be Black watching this, and I'm not saying this to separate Americans, I'm saying each community has a very specific, generally, certain smaller communities, bigger communities, New York solutions may not work in Texas, right? The Black community, if you're listening to this, you know that your community has not looking better for the last 50 years of Democrat policy. And if you don't want to go Trump, okay, look into other things and land somewhere else. But all I'm telling you is they're going to keep lying to you. They are going to get on social media. They're going to say, Biden's done a great job. The next time you hear that, I want you to go to the grocery store. I want you to look at the price of a carton of eggs. I want you to look at how they'll then go back on that same media and say, oh, it's corporate greed. Then that's juxtaposed by the iced tea guy, the 99-cent Arizona iced tea dude going, I'm not raising my prices. We're getting money. I just don't want to. I just think that inflation is an issue.
Right.
And it is. It is. So, no, if you happen to be Black, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. All I ask is that you put it on your scale. Put it on your scale and weigh it. And if it comes out a certain way, and if you see the difference in that last 8 years in that economy, you know what you got to do. Again, I'm a libertarian. Our guy is on some weird energy.
Yeah.
So
to say the least. I mean, your guy, I did some final thoughts on him. That was an interesting pick. But Maj, I can't let you go without asking you about what you're doing with Black Guns Matter and the Solutionaries, because I think, as you know, I've been a fan for years on you're taking active steps to make a difference, to train people on firearms and their rights and how important it is. So I want you to plug what you're doing. Where can people go? How can they attend your classes? And what can they do to get read up on Black Guns Matter and what you guys do?
All of our classes are free to all. And I don't mean socialist free. I mean, limited government. We don't take any government handouts. I mean, limited government, people choosing to voluntarily pay it forward. We've raised about $700 and some odd thousand over the last, few years, and it's given away. The class is on civics. The class is on firearm safety. The class is on stop the bleed. Behind me, you got all of this stuff about anatomy. We do, again, stop the bleed classes. We do phlebotomy sessions where people can actually get jobs after they get their certification. We got 20 sewing machines right over there. Classes on sewing. We make the space available to people for free for all of these things that might be a little thing. You might get a job as a phlebotomist and you maybe make $50,000 a year. That takes a lot of that pressure off if you need a gig. So our center is a holistic approach. We do not accept government funds. We just take voluntary donations. The classes are free to all in person. And if you want to use the space to teach a class, the space is made available to you for free based on everyone's voluntary donations. We do these in the center in Philadelphia, the birthplace of America, and we do these things around the country. If it's an in-person class, you can show up for free. And I'm going to ask everybody, do it for the 4th of July, do it whatever. We need about 2,000 donors at the $100 level to totally be done with the fundraising and buy this building outright that we're in.
Oh, that's great.
Guys, if you can, 2,000 people, just give $100. Give whatever you can, but 2,000 people giving $100 helps us buy this building outright and keep all of the classes for free. Please, everyone, if you got some value from our conversation today, go over to givesendgo.com/solutionary. givesendgo.com/solutionary. It will be great if we can get it all done before the 4th of July and Independence Day. That would be amazing to make that announcement on Independence Day. Some of the fans of the show some of you dudes and women are really, really rich. Please support in whatever way you can. But we cannot rely on government generally, but more specifically, we definitely cannot rely on Democrat policies, leaders, and legislation to help our communities. We have to do it ourselves. And it starts, I happen to live in a Black community. We do it there, but this is not to the exclusion of other people. If you happen to be white, Spanish, Asian, whatever, you want to come learn, you want to come teach a class, come to the Solutionary Center, shoot us an email, donate towards the work. But we have to unify and expose these contradictions that leftist policies and politicians are 100% on if we're going to make inroads to make this unification of America thing happen.
Well, you've always done such great work, and you've been one of those people out there steadfast, just dedicating your life to this and to the cause. You're one of the most genuine people I've ever met. I'm proud to call you a friend. I'm so happy to have you on the show. Thank you so much, as always, for your time, Maj, and I encourage everyone to go check out everything that you do, because you're always speaking the truth. And I hope that one of these days, Charlemagne the God will invite you on, still pushing for that. And we'll revisit that as well. Thank you so much. And I'll work on that. I have zero pull in that, but I will work on it from a social media perspective. Thanks so much.
Yo, Tommy, me and you going to do a show. I got an idea. Be safe, everybody.
All right. Thanks so much, Maj. I appreciate it. All right, folks. Donald Trump infamously called Hillary Clinton a nasty woman, but I think the top two contenders for that spot, at least as of now, are Nancy Pelosi and Jill Biden. Which is worse? Well, it's time for my final thoughts presented by Roundhouse Provisions. First Lady Jill Biden is an elder abuser, and there are no two ways about it. She is so thirsty for power and attention, she makes Hillary look like Carol Brady. That's a Brady Bunch reference for the Gen Zers out there. But back to Jill. She is nasty for this.
I saw in him then the same character that I see in him today. And even though he has faced unimaginable tragedies, his optimism is undaunted. His strength is unshakable. His hope is undeterred. Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Why?
To thrust her husband out there in his obvious state of steep decline and clap while he embarrasses himself and our entire country, that's some evil business right there. Jill Biden is 1,000 times worse than Hillary Clinton, and I don't make that comparison lightly either. Hillary is awful and maliciously ambitious and power-hungry, and she stood by her cheating husband to keep power. But what Jill is doing to exploit Joe's last remaining brain cell is pure evil, and there's no other way to describe it. And the only woman who might be worse is Nancy Pelosi.
My people are very much Biden, Kamala Harris, and this is an opportunity for Joe Biden to go out there and show he has the stamina and the rest. And by the way, while the press, and for some reason they don't, there are healthcare professionals who think that Trump has dementia, that his connection, his thoughts do not go together.
If Nancy's face could move, I swear you would see her devil horns bulge out. But both women are absolutely shameless. Between the two of them, you couldn't find a full heart or a soul. Jill is an elder abuser exploiting Joe, and Nancy is pretending she's not having backroom convos with Gavin Newsom about throwing Joe under the bus. They both make me sick. Nancy and Jill have something else in common, at least I reckon so. They both hate Kamala Harris. Jill hates Kamala so much she'll do anything to deny Kamala a shot at the Oval Office, and Nancy for damn sure is in on that and working behind the scenes to make sure that doesn't happen. I don't know how they sleep at night, but you know what they say, ain't no rest for the wicked. Those are my final thoughts. Please be sure to tune in tomorrow live again at 1 p.m. Eastern. Also, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Tomi Lahren is Fearless. From Nashville, God bless and take care. What's up, guys? Thank you for watching Tomi Lahren is Fearless. If you want more of my hottest takes, must-see conversations, and of course, my final thoughts, click here and make sure you subscribe here so you'll never miss a beat. I'll be here every weekday and I hope you'll join me.